happening here? What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Now hold on there, graphic man.
Well, good evening, everybody. We are ready to roll here. I'm joined by Jambo Comics, our special foreign correspondent, Paulo, and the great Meyer Greenblatt from the other coast. And we see some people are already ready for us. I invited Jared to be in the chat, and he's getting on to us for not starting promptly. So here we are. Yes, TBS. And Justin's here, formerly Zombo. Hello, spectator. And Scott Connor here. Hello there. These masters guaranteed. So we're going to be joined with Eric Breen pretty soon, and then of course we'll be joined with Grottu later. But hopefully everybody's doing okay. We've had a few people that have had family situations arise, Dr. Silver Age and Charlton 66. And we've given Captain Strange Life the week off. We don't want him to get too taxed with hanging out with us all the time. So we're our half skeleton crew, but we're going to press on. And gentlemen, I guess I'll start. Tonight's crazy topic is covers that you're not too crazy about. And I'm going to start with this giant size Iron Man. And I have a reason for starting with this, because if you remember the first time this story appeared, it was an absolutely fantastic book, drawn by Jack Kirby and inked by Dick Ayers. And what's not to like about this particular cover? As you can see, even the colors are just fantastic on it. And yet for some reason, when they decided to reprint this, they decided to have Gil Kane do this. And I know a lot of you guys are really enamored with Gil Kane. I not so much, but I'm not really digging this. And if you compare it side by side, I just prefer that original. I wish they would have kept that. They even threw in Captain America, if you look real close. Apparently he witnesses this encounter, but he's not really in the story. So I have, I guess, thrown down the gauntlet now, and everybody can write me hate letters. I'll post my email shortly, and we'll get around to that. But before I turn it over to you guys, I'd like to bring your attention to Michael Nasser, who drew this image of Spider-Man. And I am not a big fan of this drawing. And for some reason, about a year later, they decided to let him take a stab at it again. And he turned out this.
Wow.
So I think I could do a little better than that. And I'm certainly not trying to take anybody's job. But why would you draw a Spider-Man like that about 1 inch away on the cover from one of the most iconic images of Spider-Man? That's a great trademark in that corner. But all right. this might be a difficult episode for some of you to watch, but does anybody have? Dr. Silver Age wanted to be here, and he wanted to show some Frank Robbins artwork that he's not too crazy about. But would anybody like to go next as I bring in Eric?
I'll show you some more. Not to pick on him or anything, because I do like his art, but I mean, he had some stinkers too, like I guess everybody did. Maybe he had a bad day or two. But our old friend Gil Kane there, doing some Conan work there, just
I'm really going to be in trouble with Eric now. So
seemed not so cool there.
Hey, get this guy out of here.
Yeah, I just picked on Kane, and now Jambo's joining in. So.
And it was just a bad run. I don't know if it was somebody inking him, or maybe he was doing his own ink work for a particular run on this book. But yeah, I mean, this one wasn't quite as bad as that other one, but
yeah, at least he had a bunch of snakes to look at.
Yeah. Kind of a lackluster, I think, few covers there that it's turned out. Not my favorite looking Conans.
And so these are all Kane?
Yeah.
Oh, Eric.
I'm glad I picked this time to show up.
Right on cue.
But now, that being said, he did do some fantastic work and some great covers and stuff that I really enjoy and think is real works of art. But these particular ones just didn't hit home with me. So, I mean, but, you know, not just to pick on Gil Kane. I mean, there was other artists that did crappy work. You know, looks like a patchwork quilt or something there that Conan's. That lady's dress there.
Now, were you able to use this cover for your Cover Slingers episode of
I was going
covers?
to with the skulls and everything,
yeah.
But it was so horrible. I couldn't bring myself to show it and try to, get points on it. And you guys remember the Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. run and Jim Stranko's work, right?
Right.
Well, they had subs come in later on in the run. I mean, that's not terrible work, but it just wasn't Jim Steranko. We got used to seeing all those flashy covers and stuff, and then they try to sneak something in on us, and it just was kind of a letdown to me. So, and I guess artists had bad days that they just really weren't into it.
Right.
And this is a Marie Severin cover. A lot of people are familiar with it, the Profanity cover.
Right.
Now, I don't know if she did it or the inker did it, but it's there on Zabu's backside there. So, yeah, maybe she was just having a bad day. The art's not bad on this. I kind of like it. I always like Marie Severin's work, but maybe they was having a bad day. She was having a bad day. So
Jackson's here in the audience. He was kind enough to go on somebody's channel and start bragging on this this stream we've been doing lately. So
good deal.
And I'm not paying him a thing for that. So.
Free advertisement's the best kind. I'll let somebody else show something if they want.
Well, I got something here.
All right.
Sir.
So you guys know when you have a collected edition of classic material, and then the editor decides to get a modern artist to do the cover. So there's this Star Trek trade from IDW, and this collects the Marvel series, except for the issues from issues 4 to 18. Doesn't collect 1 to 3 because that's the movie adaptation.
Right.
And considering that, okay, where's the cover to that? For example, adapting the cover to number 17, this would have made a good cover for the trade paperback, but no, instead we have whatever this is. Seriously, is this Jim Kirk? Does this look like Jim T. Kirk to you? I don't know what this is supposed to be.
melded in.
It's very
We have-
unappealing.
Yeah, and we have Dave Cockrum and Klaus Jensen and Ed Hannigan inside, and then they give me this. Please. Ridiculous.
Well,
Want
I
my
thought
money
this
back.
was going to be a little lackluster, but you guys are kind of getting into it now, so that's great. Well, Eric, are all your books pro positive from the convention, or did you have any?
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that this was a theme tonight. So
Okay.
and I'm I am the quintessential glass half full kind of guy. Just ask anybody that knows me. But I do want to say, we were talking about Gil Kane a second ago. All kidding aside, by the '80s, he had definitely lost his step. As had Jim Aparo, and I still enjoyed seeing anything they did, but it really wasn't the same as the '60s and '70s. Or Helen Kane's case, probably back to the '50s. So that's.
That is true.
Lead paints in the audience. All right. Well, is that all the roughhousing we want to do? Just show some positive things. Jambo's get ready to badmouth somebody else.
Well, just not only the Bronze Age and stuff. There's a great artist from the Golden Age, Bob Powell. Does amazing work. He did a lot of westerns and stuff. Worked for Magazine Enterprises quite a bit. I like this cover. Cool cover. All right. But then even they could throw out a stinker every once in a while. Now, I don't mind the girl so much on the purple buzzard bird, whatever that is. But, yeah. Thunda's outfit there just left something to be desired, I guess.
Well, he's got a very, very short haircut. So
yeah. And this is really beat up. It's ratted out really bad. But I mean, you had John Wayne Comics, right?
Yes.
And there's the Duke right there. Now, to me, that doesn't much look like the Duke. I mean, I would have opted for a photo cover or something. They got the Duke on a motorcycle there.
That looks more like a young Rodney Dangerfield.
Kinda, yeah. No respect.
Yeah, it kind of does.
That's it.
All right. Well,
I'll try to play nice now.
yeah, I think we got it out of our system. I think it was good for us every now and then to do that, though. So. All right, let's go to Meyer. Yeah. He's going to show me some Daredevil.
Here's a palette cleanser for everybody. What's better than no cover at all? So this is this is Daredevil number 82, and there's no cover. It just tells you to turn to page 11 to enter a contest, and to enter the contest, you have to cut the comic book apart and paste it together and send it in, and you may win $2 or you may win $100 or you may win nothing. But there's no cover on this comic book. It's just pink. It's Daredevil number 82. And then I've got one for all the colonizers out there. Here's Treasure Chest, where we've got missionaries with Native Americans right there. It's nice. And then a racist Bugs Bunny cover, but it's okay to talk about this racism because it's against Italians, so it's no big deal.
Yeah. Fantastic. And Eric, we decided that next week we'd like to show some American Indian artwork, and I'm going to show some Scalp Hunter, and I don't know what else the rest of the guys are going to show, but
Cool.
that one would have fit in as well next week as well. So, all right, let's see here. Lead paint. Yes. Well, Eric, you're off camera, but when do you want to show us your report?
Well, if you got one more person to do something, I'll do my first round after that.
I might as well talk about mini comics real quick. That is Da-Gar. Let me. I'll make myself full screen. That is Da-Gar. Now, of course, Da-Gar is a gold key property, but I don't know if you guys have seen the mini comics. There were 9 of these, and it's in color. And I have some better scans to show you than instead of just me holding this up. But I brought out a Jack Chick track to put side by side, so you can see that it's longer and just a little bit taller than the average size. But I know Jambo will definitely be interested in some of this. Let me grab some images. And by the way, if you want to look this up on comics.org, they list each one individually, even though they're all in a series 1 through 9. I wish they would put them together so you could just kind of look at all 9 one after the other. But you have to individually search them out. They're called Dan Curtis giveaways. And the first one is Dark Shadows.
Nice.
And I'll just go through these fairly fast. The second one is Star Trek. Now, Jambo, I know you have all the gold keys. This is Western Publishing. I guess it would be considered. There's going to be 2 of these you'll be interested in.
That's going to be my next thing there, is to go after those. I'd like to get all of them, though.
The Twilight Zone. Number 4 is Ripley's Believe It or Not. Turok. And when you get to number 6, it's back to Star Trek. And they are the only ones that had a second billing. Because then you go into the Occult Files of Dr. Spectre. And the last one is Grimm's Ghost Story. That's number 9. But I'll show you mine. Mine's number 8. And here's my scan. And I scanned the back image. It reprints, not in its entirety, but partially Da-Gar number 2. And here it is. This is the first page opened. So the colors look really good. One staple. And it's the same artwork. They may have to chop a few things off every now and then. But I was pretty impressed with them.
That's not bad. Yeah, I like.
They're gonna average about between $6 and $20. And I think my comic shop has them. But they do the same thing comics.org does. They don't put them all on one grouping. You have to type in and know specifically what you're looking for. So
if you wanted one of the Star Trek ones, it would be under Star Trek and not whatever this series is called.
Yeah, let me go back up to they're called Dan Curtis giveaways. And so Jambo would be interested in number 2 and number 6. Because they're both Star Trek. So
yeah.
Wonder if Gold Key Geezer has any of these.
I don't know. He told me he might be able to join us in an hour. So, but him, me, and Shannon, I think, are pretty heavy into Gold Key. I know you guys are too, but
getting heavier by the day.
Yeah.
And like Gold Key.
We will soon have our own painted covers.
There's some more Marie Severin. Loved her run on Hulk. She was doing the Hulk and drawing him. And I was just getting into comics then. I was a wee little lad. And then they switched up
Lead paint. I don't know who that guy was.
and put Herb Trimp in there.
Dark
No,
Shadows. He was
I
a film
liked
producer.
Herb Trimpy, or Herb Trimp is what I say,
Me too.
after I got used to him. And I really like him now, and got to meet the man at a con, and he was a really nice guy. He was a super nice fella. But at first, when I was a kid, I just didn't like his art. But it grew on me, I guess, So he had quite the run on the Incredible Hulk there.
Let me put that question back up. Meyer, you were saying that Dan was...
He was a producer, a TV and a movie producer. He produced Dark Shadows. He made all the Dark Shadows and those the movies as well. He also made a Dracula, Dan Curtis's Dracula, with what's the name of the actor? I can't. Gosh, I wish Grottu was here. I can't think of the name.
Jack Palance?
Yes, there you go. Thank you, Eric.
Didn't he do the Kolchak movies also?
Yes, he did. He did the Kolchak TV show and the movies, I think. Yeah.
It's
Wow.
Yeah, and Jambo, I think as far as Herb Trimp goes, I'm not sure anybody liked him while he was doing it necessarily. But now, when you look through him through the lens of like comics history, I found I have way more appreciation for guys like him and even Frank Robbins, guys like that. It just, I guess just you have to grow into them to some of the artists, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, I just grew to appreciate him over the period of time. When I first seen it, I was like disappointed that Marie Severin wasn't doing the work no more, but it just kind of grew on me, and I grew to expect that when I pick up a copy of the Hulk, it would be Trimp. So,
and I do remember in the early 90s when Marvel was doing their Unlimiteds, that he was on the Fantastic Four and he was asked to imitate Rob Liefeld's art style.
Oh no. Has disaster wrote all over it.
It did, but yeah, I kind of want to hear the version of the story where he told them to, what themselves.
But he had already done it. There are 2 fill-in issues of Guardians of the Galaxy that have him aping Liefeld style. It was just after Valentino had left.
Lead paint, the back of mine said was an offer for this film. Film size was 110. I used to have a camera 110 film, and it expires in 1975. So comics.org guessed that these were made in 1974. I don't know exactly how they were given away, or what stores. But if it's selling camera film, it's probably some nice camera shopper. Comics were everywhere, so I'm not sure how to answer that. Hello, Gotham City. Want you guys tackle that one?
I already answered it.
Oh, I was busy looking at Da-Gar or Da-Gar.
I thought Jerry was smarter than that.
Oh, okay.
He's a friend of mine for 40 years. And he's a microphone away from joining us at some point.
Oh.
Because he fits every other criteria.
So he could come and keep you in line. Pretty good, huh? It sounds like you'd regret having him here.
I said, we've been friends for 40 years. If one of us hasn't driven off the other by now. Oh, and lead paint. Jerry writes for back issue. Good timing on that.
Wow.
Well, all right, Eric. How did it go? Up in Ohio, right?
Cincinnati, yeah. Friday was outstanding. Saturday was a kick in the groin. And Sunday was, exceeded all expectations. I was talking to a lot of the dealers that day, and everybody was singing the Saturday blues because that was family. It's like Friday the serious collectors were there because that's when the books were first put out. Now, keep in mind, there was a convention 100 miles away, less than 100 miles away, just a week ago. So a lot of guys didn't have time to reload. But then Saturday was the family day, and a lot of cosplayers, and just, it was a day to walk around and be seen. Then Sunday, everybody, it's like the collectors came back, and we sold a Spider-Man 3 for several grand, which made it nice.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I saw a display wall that was worth $500,000 easy.
Wow.
I mean, you name the Marvel key, it was in there, and pretty much every DC key from Showcase 4 on down. And it was, I said, I don't know that I've ever. You used to see a lot of boards like that, 20, 30 years ago. But now that the speculators have come in and just wiped out most of the, keys, it's just to see them all in one spot again. I mean, the Avengers 4 wasn't even slabbed. I mean, it was just like, man, it was. I should have taken a picture, but the show went well. I mean, there's a lot of free time, because once you set up, between setting up and tearing down, you're basically just kind of helping the people that show up at your booth. And there's a lot of times when you don't have anybody, so I made the most of that time by going around and being the comic book hoarder that I am.
Was mostly Marvel?
Most of what I bought was DC.
Okay.
Yeah, Marvel's just the Marvel prices are stratospheric now, and
it's true. Yeah. Did you film anything, Eric?
I did not. It's not. I should, but it never occurs to me to do that.
Right. I don't know if you're like me. I feel weird running around with a camera or phone or something up, just filming everybody as I'm going by and looking through books and things like that.
Yeah, if I had editing software and skill, I might have done that and turned it into a video. But
right.
My videos consist of Jerry holding my phone steady while I blather for about 10 to 12 minutes. And that's as high tech as it gets.
Yeah, that's me.
Well,
but I do have some. I can show some of the stuff that I picked up.
Sure.
It sure as hell isn't going to make anybody forget Strange Life or anybody or Dr. Silver Age. But let's see. Batman 256. Right. There's one where I had passed this booth about 5 times, and the first two, I would just look at a couple books, and they were so expensive. I just wrote them off, and I just looked a little deeper the second time and found that, and I've been looking for that again for years. Yeah. And it actually was very fairly priced, so that was nice to see. And one row over, found that.
Oh, cool. Now, see, that's good Gil Kane right there.
Yes. It's 80-page giant number 15.
That was cool.
The older I get, the more I love those mid-50s, world's finest stories where that professor's always sending them either into the past or they're out in space somewhere. And yes, absolutely love those. See, Super Team Family number 1. Has an Adams World's Finest and a Kane Teen Titan story. From the 12 Trials of Wonder Woman storyline. This one I was really happy to get back. I love that cover.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It's like Batman just got those at a con.
Let's see. Here's and Batman 259. So I'll show one more for this round. 80-page giant #1.
Those are awesome.
Or what was supposed to be the Superman annual #1. And I said I've got more, but I'll pace myself.
Fantastic. Meyer, I think, has something to show us.
Sure. I have some more.
Yeah.
This is a Lassie cover
Excellent.
of Lassie, like in this airplane, and these people are down below, like waving for help. And I think it's a funny cover because they're assuming that Lassie is going to be able to communicate to the pilot that she sees them. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? And maybe Lassie just doesn't want to tell the pilot. You know, this same comic has this very questionable panel in it. Interesting. So it's very suggestive.
Well,
we've got another funny
she's 3
Lassie
feet
cover,
away.
I think, is this Lassie saving this kitten jumping out of this flaming building. Like, I mean, it's flaming. So I just think it's kind of funny that this was popular. This dogs in like severe danger. This was like an attraction to kids. I think it's kind of interesting. I've got a couple of classics illustrated that are kind of interesting. Not only are they do you get guys in skirts, but you also get cocktails, right? Rob Roy and a hurricane. I thought that was kind of interesting. They're tied together there. I think this one's kind of funny too. It's Bozo brushing this hippo's teeth, and the hippo's got kind of a funny look on his face, like maybe he's not enjoying it. Here's a weird one from Big Shot. This guy's telling this character not to attack this parade with an axe. He's attacking it because he hates the sound of the calliope.
Well, seems reasonable.
Here's a little Archie cover that's also odd, like similar to some of the other covers. That
Yeah.
it's like children in death-defying situations or super dangerous situations, stuff that they would never do down it. And then maybe this is the last one. This is one of my favorite covers. It's Barnyard, and he's saying, Barnyard Comics, he's saying, "Hey, Pop, look at the swell prize I won at the spelling bee." And he's wearing a dunce cap.
Yeah.
I just love the pig dad that's sitting there, and it's just a great cover. That's about it for now.
Fantastic.
Go on, somebody else.
Those were good. Excellent.
Picked up a few pulps, a couple of pulps the other day. That one has kind of a bad cover on it. I got it for the Robert E. Howard story, but I don't know.
Is that like 100 pages or?
It wasn't it's like a digest size, and yeah, there's probably close to that. Yeah, 100 pages in that. And I think that one was from like the late 50s, as was this one.
Wow.
And I just got it because it was like $4, I think. So
Those are cool.
anytime you can find a pulp for $4, it's not mangled too bad.
Did you order that or did you find it in a store?
No, I was at a little flea market around this area. They call them like peddlers malls, and they have booths set up. People put their products and stuff inside of these booths, and this guy had some old magazines, and I was just kind of thumbing through them and found that one. $4. I said, yeah, I'll do that. And I got this the other day. Should have probably showed that last week.
That's cool.
It's a capsule there. Getting ready to eat it. And one last Gil Kane, Eric. The villain's impossibly long neck there.
Man, he makes the Blob look jacked.
But
Excellent.
yeah, I love that run of Defenders stuff.
And Grottu hasn't checked in yet, so
I guess I can show something. And keeping it in the theme of small size magazines.
Hold on, I got to put that back up. Did you guys catch this? Basketball. That's excellent. Sorry, Paulo. That struck me funny. So
yeah. Okay, so I got here a Brazilian edition of a Black Panther miniseries, and they published this as a 2-issue miniseries, but it was a 4-issue miniseries in the U.S. They just added 2 issues per comic, so they're 48 pages. And to compare with a US-sized comic, and this was the.
I was going to say, are these full color?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Although they do color them in the Brazilian, they're colored by the Brazilian publisher staff. This publisher Global, they were not renowned for publishing superheroes. They were better known as the publishers of Monica's Gang, starting in 1987, and the adventure series that they were better known for were the Phantom and Mandrake. They every once in a while they got the rights to something that Marvel or DC that the regular publisher Abril was not putting out, and they would do it themselves. And the Black Panther was a case of that. This was originally the 1988 U.S. miniseries by Peter B. Gillis and Dennis Cowan. And since they weren't publishing the Black Panther, they just decided to throw this out, which is a bit out of the ordinary. But if you're into out of the ordinary, Black Panther. Blank on the inside. Well, there is this black page here. The story ends here, and then they have a black page as filler. And then this. I think basically a pinup and the text piece. Also, this pinup is what you can see the small print here, but this is where they have the indicia. And in Brazil, they had to credit everybody, including the warehouse staff.
Wow. Like a union rule or something?
Yeah, I think so. I usually read the top because I wanted to know who was in the bullpen, and one of the editors, Leandro Luigi Del Manto, was he rose fast through the ranks at Abril, and then he left for Globo, and that's how they decided to put out stuff like this.
Those look great.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And what year? You probably said it. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, this is the 88 U.S. miniseries, and these were published in December 1990. They were actually published fortnightly, so you have a 2-issue miniseries. They both come out in the space of 1 month. And they might even go together in the newsstand, so you can pick up both of them at the same time.
It looks swell.
Hey, Graphic. Just wanted to point out that we have 22 people in chat right now, so I believe that's our high watermark. So thank you to everybody that's here.
Awesome.
It's going to be getting a little bigger every week. It's nice to see.
Yeah, I sent a few emails and probably stalked a few people and said, "Hey, please come check us out." So hopefully I didn't irritate too many people, but
I threw a shout out on the No Face or the Cover Slingers Saturday. So I know Jackson Roykirk is a regular on there a lot of times. So yeah, but he's already been here. So show you one more.
Sure.
Kind of disappointed me. Some beautiful John Buscema, Red Sonja. So that was great. I was glad they brought it back. And then by issue number 6, we were getting stuff like that.
She looks angry.
So, yeah. I don't think it went on much after this.
I don't have any of those.
Yeah, well, like I said, the first issue was pretty much it. It was pretty much downhill after that.
Cool. So. Well, who'd like to go next? Eric or Meyer?
I can show some weird toys that are I'll show something interesting that made by Mattel in the 70s. So in about 1976, Kenner was killing it with the $6 Million Man action figure, right? He was this out of scale figure, like about 14 inches tall, like 2 inches bigger than your normal G.I. Joe. And he had all those features, and everybody loved the $6 Million Man. So Mattel tried to come up with something to compete with that, and it was this guy. His name is Pulsar, the Man of Adventure. And he's also gigantic. He's 14 inches tall. He kind of looks like Lee Marvin. I don't really understand what they were going for here. His head opens up. Well, this one's not opening. Here's another one. So here's one without the shirt on, and you can see how his head opens up. So the problem with this toy, and the reason why this toy didn't sell very well, is because there was nothing connected to it. There was no cartoon. There was no backstory. It was just this guy that you could pump the blood through his insides. And he had a real good tan, and he looks a lot like Lee Marvin, or maybe Steve Martin from The Jerk. So they tried to boost sales by bringing an alien villain into the line. This guy's name is Hypnos, and he's also giant, 14 inches tall.
Good.
And he has this spinning action on the side. Pretty cool. So, like I mentioned, these didn't sell very well. Here's something you might find interesting, Graphic Man.
Beetle. Wow.
It is. Why is this not focusing?
Yeah. Sometimes if you hold the a backer board up to it, it gives it something white to look at. But yeah, it's starting to get it. Yeah, there you go.
So this is a really nice old bobblehead from the mid '60s. Beetle Bailey. He's from like 1966. And then I'll show you one more thing that I think is an unusual toy that's cool that they would never make nowadays for kids. And so it was made by Marx, and it was part of the Marx Best of the West line. And these kids that are Johnny West and Jane West's sons. There's Jay and what's the other kid's name is Jamie. They came in these little boxes like shoe boxes, and they came with tons of accessories, like 25 different accessories. And some of the accessories that this little boy that your child that you played with in the 70s, that the reason why they would probably never do this today is because he came equipped with guns and knives, and you could put like a little 6-gun in his hand or a little Bowie knife in his hand. And it's just an interesting look at a time that will never happen again, where a toy companies would produce a toy for kids, for a little boy that they would definitely want to play with. It's an impression of like you. It's you as an action figure, and you can play cowboy with it. But it came with guns, and it's hard to. They would never do anything like this anymore.
Right.
But it's just something cool from a bygone era.
Yeah, in the chat,
time.
Scott says he had the Johnny West. I didn't want to interrupt you earlier, but I had the first guy you showed, the one with the blood and the.
Oh, did you have Pulsar?
I had no idea what I had, but I had it for when I was a kid.
That's cool. So this is just the story of Ruth, but what's cool about it is there's Moloch is on the cover.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah. Weird old toys. I got a lot of them.
They're phenomenal.
Very cool.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I'm glad you guys like them.
Jambo was showing those Red Sonja, so I recently finished this very small run. The Thongor. You guys got all this, don't you?
I've got.
Yeah, I don't know if I have all of them, but I have that issue. Yeah.
There's only like 8 of them, and I really kind of dig it. But
yeah, that was a good.
Yeah, I like it too.
Series.
Yep.
Some of those had Bermuda covers on them. Yeah. Very cool.
Let's do one more.
Yeah. Always got the girl in peril there.
Speaking of things you'll never see again.
Yeah. It's very feminine.
Yeah.
Now they'd have her beating up the bad guys and rescuing Thongor. So.
Absolutely.
Here's one more funny thing. This right here. Isn't this box cool? It says Combat Soldier on it. Looks really neat, right?
Yeah.
Then when you open it up, the guy looks really doofy. He looks nothing like the Combat Soldier on the box, right?
Looks like Charlie Chaplin's stand-in.
Yeah, he looked like he had a top hat on there for a second.
Yeah, look at this guy. He doesn't look like this guy.
No.
That's the perfect toy for the night. Yeah.
False advertising.
Yeah, he should be a politician. Well, Eric, what else was there at Ohio?
All right. Now, the guy that had the $500,000 wall, his stock was $5 each, or 5 for 20. So I picked up some. That's for you, Rod. Look at the top.
Yeah.
And someone posted a picture or a cover on Twitter today and it said, "I love World's Finest Comics covers." And yeah, it was the one where Superman and Batman are making Robin and Jimmy Olsen dig their own graves.
Yep.
And I say these are just awesome.
I love the one where they're changing a tire.
Oh yeah, I didn't find that. It's in. So here's a third go check World's Finest. Let's see. Lois Lane.
That last one was hard to resist not drawing the faces on them for them.
I'm sure there's plenty of them out there where it was done.
Yeah.
Yes, I grab these whenever I can because I love the Rose and Thorn backup. Actually, I was reading Lois Lane the other day, and it ended with Dark Side. So there was actually cooler stuff happening in Lois Lane than in Superman and Action Comics. There's a House of Mystery.
That's nice.
I'm a huge mark for giant size anything. I grabbed the Daredevil.
Do you have that Iron Man I had earlier?
Which I didn't see the one you showed. Was it the giant size?
Yeah, I was making fun of the Gil Kane art.
Oh, okay. I do not have that. I did, but I do not now. It was a Rip Hunter. I believe we've little Mr. Kane representing there. Adam.
I like that run on Adam there. It was very good.
Giant Batman. Now I found a booth that had $5 and $10 really, really old, well, pretty old Action Comics. Here's $2.59.
And did it cost anything to get into this one?
Yes, not for me because I was working it, but yeah, it was $40 or $50 or something like that. Here's a $2.81, which I didn't realize I already had. I have 2 books in the 200s, and of course, I duplicate one of the 2.
So Eric will be selling that one later tonight.
Here is the slightly phallic 303. Let's see. 328.
Oh yeah.
Batman Annual number 7.
Nice.
And for $5, here's Batman Annual 3. I am truly afraid to open it because I have a feeling it might just come apart in my hand. A couple more here. See, I'll finish up with this. Batman 286. Always like that cover.
Yeah, it's a good cover.
So that'll do for this one. I can give a couple more rounds of this. So let somebody else go.
Paulo has a very disgruntled look on his eyebrows there.
He
can't believe there's 2 Jokers on there. He can't believe it.
I just want to ask Paulo. We've got 75% Cavern of Chaos representation. Where's that other old guy?
It's probably at work. They make him travel 100 miles just for his work nowadays.
Well, I said if you ever get him to come on, yes, we'll clear a space at the table for him.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. Okay, but I got something here. Let's take a detour and have here a preview magazine. It had free distribution in Portugal. There was a Spanish publisher called Netcom2. They tried getting into the Portuguese market, see if they could launch some affordable French graphic novels. It's just that they weren't very good, so they didn't last that long. But this magazine is interesting. The material they selected to publish was the Tintin-style ligne claire, which at the time was not the best bet to launch an editorial project, especially because these were modern ligne claire books. And This is a preview of the Alan McBride series by Jean-Yves Brouard and Patrick Dumas. And it's about an archaeologist. And as beautiful as sometimes some of the art is, the Linclair is really distracting. Also, the art has been reduced in order to fit into a small magazine, so a bit not much in quality. Advertising page for the Margot series. This the advantage of is that since these were made in the early 2000s, they were able to do something that was not normal at the time. Sexy women on Linclair. They were not allowed to have sexy women on Tintin, for example, but here they do. This series Margot was launched with support from an automobile manufacturer, and they published 3 albums showcasing their historical cars, and the 4th and the 5th focus on other cars, the Fiat 500 and the Volkswagen Beetle, but the first 3 were by Citroën. Only the first was published in Portugal, I think, but the series kind of held out for 5 volumes in France. Another one, and finally the last series that they advertised here, is set in ancient Egypt. It's called Chaos. Also Linclair. The writer was Jacques Martin, at the time already a veteran. This comic already came out in France in the 1990s, but Martin was already working in the 1940s. So he wrote this and had an assistant, Jean Playet, draw in Martin's style. So it kind of looks like imagine that you're Gil Kane and you hire somebody to draw like you after you've been in the business for 50 years. And this is what happened here.
So I noticed in the first panel they've stamped the word preview on it. They want you to buy the real McCoy, and then they don't have that. Do they just show enough pages to get you hooked on the story, and then it's to be continued, or? Yeah.
These are the first 5 pages that came out on the album. So the first 2 are here. Jacques Martin is better known for a series called Alix, which is set in ancient Rome.
You told me about him. Yeah.
And the last page of the magazine is the last page of the preview. So this was only 16 pages and had distribution. And now let's go back to Brazil, because I have something that I found pretty interesting here. This is the issue number 90 of Captain America from Editora Abril. And this is an original cover made by the Brazilian publisher, art by a local artist from São Paulo, Watson Portela. It's his signature right here. And he did the coloring too. So he doesn't have a style that you'd call recognizable. He's not trying to ape anyone from the US. But I just found it. Every once in a while, they would have Portela do a cover, and they were always pretty interesting to have. You were used to the regular covers, and these stand out. They're unique. You can't find them anywhere else on the planet unless you go after this.
Paulo, did you say he was not trying to ape anybody?
Yeah.
I've been looking at that the whole time you've been doing that, and it's.
What is the law?
The law is to get a preview.
There's no power here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Paul, I will go back to you. I just wanted you to know what I was dealing with while I'm trying to listen to you.
Yeah. One thing that I like to show when I show the Brazilian magazines are the house heads. Aventura e Ficção was a black and white large US-sized magazine. At the beginning they mostly had material from Marvel Preview and Bizarre Adventures. This one is a Star-Lord issue. Then Captain America at the time, they were running the DeMatteis Zack stories. So you can see here.
Oh, yeah.
They're a favorite of mine. The second story is from Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and Daredevil. So it starts with a party at Aunt May's guest house. She had a guest house for a while, and that's where she met Nathan Lubinsky, who was married to her for a while. The story features Dominic Fortune.
Yeah, they brought him back a couple of times, Dominic.
Yeah, and here's a Daredevil pinup submitted by a reader. They would publish reader art next year to the letters. And finally, there's a Moon Knight story. I didn't really like Moon Knight now that I think back, but I didn't complain much because 3 or 4 stories per issue was a great idea. Okay, I'll still pick something out for later.
All right. Well, I guess if everybody's looking at their watch, they know about time it is. Did I monkey around with any pop culture this time? And I'll give you a little history. Here's the 1950s, Mystery in Space, where they decide to put Eisenhower on there. And if that looks familiar to you guys, it's what you were all looking at last week when they redid it. Although they skipped Kennedy and LBJ for some reason, they went right to Nixon. And it's basically the same idea with the aliens. And of course, last week, Dr. Silver Age had one, Meyer Greenblatt had one, Jambo had one, and Grottu had one. And he asked if I would update this. And so, of course, I did for him. There's the most recent. And so here's the words. And so the other one was Eisenhower, Nixon. So I did Biden. And but that was, I consider that low hanging fruit. So I had to do something else, right? I can't just be satisfied with doing that. So I thought I'd take a look at this Frankenstein monster number 8. And I don't know if you guys watched Svengoolie last weekend.
Yeah,
he showed Dracula with the great
Bella.
Yeah, thank you. It was starting to escape me. And Boris there for Frankenstein. I thought, why don't I put those guys on that cover? And so I matched their skin tones. And I know Grottu's watching from the.
That's awesome.
From the bleachers, and so nothing too exciting, but
it's very cool.
Jambo, were you getting ready to show us something?
Eric was showing all those great DCs, and I just happened to have that one there.
Oh, beautiful.
In front of me. So $294, I think. Yeah, I just love those DCs about that time period. You never knew what was going to happen, what you were going to see on them. And there again, I should have shown that one last week. He crashed the rocket ship there, so hope he has good insurance. Those guys reminded me of the winged people from Flash Gordon. One over there. And the number 2. Orloff
Sweet.
thriller. It's been read a few times, but Tomahawk. Miss Liberty.
Can you imagine the size of the mint that made that coin?
Well, they only made two. The other one in the Batcave.
Yeah.
This is from the Sonny Wright pedigree collection there. Josie, and looks like some of the superheroes are out of work there.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Grottu was showing some of these on his channel this week. That bad guy down there, yeah, his name's Dr. Doom. So I wonder how they got around Marvel with that.
There was a Doctor Doom in a story I was reading from one of the books I got at the show. It's an old DC, I believe. So I guess maybe that was unpatentable or something.
Maybe. I mean,
uncopyrightable.
Some Josie action there.
Yeah, I guess they can make a trademark of the letters, like in the Marvel Superheroes book of Doctor Doom.
Practicing catching Archie. And one more beauty contest cover.
Boy, it's tough to decide who's the best
I
there.
know. Tough competition. That's it, man.
All right. Yeah, they all looked great. All looked great. Well, Eric, what else you got?
All right. So one of the guys, it's actually a local to where I am, but he brought a lot of dollar boxes this time. And unlike most dollar boxes you see in 2021, this actually had some stuff that could have been in a quarter box. $1.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
And this is pretty much in almost as good a shape as the one I showed earlier that I paid $20 for. I guess it all evens out. Here's another dollar purchase.
Those are great. Those Supergirls in Adventure.
And here's another one that I got for $1 that it's the first time I've ever read one. I learned that Gil Kane wrote this as well. Let's see. Here's an 80-page giant on Army at War. Let's see. I believe that's Flash 156.
Very nice.
Another Supergirl or Adventure Comics. Green Lantern 67. Got another couple of issues right around this time for $1 a piece, and so far they haven't fallen apart. And here's another couple dollar purchases. Jimmy Olsen 143.
Is that Kirby?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
145. And
That's great.
I believe he was still on there. Yeah, but not doing the covers anymore. 147. This was right about the time he was wrapping it up.
Here's a comment for you, Eric. Can you show that a little longer? I was covering part of it.
Oh, this?
Yeah, the last one.
Wasn't that about the time they were doing Don Rickles on some of the Jimmy Olsen stuff?
Yeah, he was on the cover of 139 and 141. Apparently,
Sweet.
they were Kirby and Rickles were friends.
That was always kind of odd to see him on a comic like that, I thought. So I didn't understand what that was about.
Jughead is Captain Hero.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of Archies out of the dollar boxes at this show.
That was $1?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Here's another 80-page giant, Our Army at War.
Goodness.
It's a nice Jeep cover.
Here's an issue of Hawkman.
Did you end up spending all you earned for that weekend?
I gave it a good shot. Because I said, I'm showing you the books I actually spent money on, but there are another well over 100 that I got for the last thing I did was I walked by the $2 booth of Bronze and Silver Age. It had been marked down to $1. That was an expensive trip to the bathroom.
Wow.
Let's see, Spider-Man Annual 4. We had one on our board for $150. I like the $20 price tag on this one a little better because it was half off. Liked it a lot better when I saw that.
Wow.
So that'll do it for round 3. I can keep going, but again, gotta save something for Grottu to look at.
Well, he might get on here and talk about what is it? He's always referencing. Is it Taratico? Am I getting the name right?
Tony Tallarico.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. That's great. Yeah, that's like the anti-Grottu. He can't stand them. So. Yeah, Meyer, that's a great ape mask you have. That was.
Oh, thanks.
And I can see everybody's little box. And poor Paulo was just reading. It's very, very good reporting. And I'm staring at that thing. Well, there seems to be a little dull lull. I'll show you some nice Korak. So I've got it out of the bag for a reason. I want you to see the back cover.
Beautiful.
Nice.
That's a great cover.
Yeah, that's number 3. This is I'll take it out of the Mylar too. This you've seen in one of my old videos. I try to draw this painted cover. Nowhere near as good as they do. And if you think that looks really cool, there's the back.
I loved that they were doing this.
Now that I'd love to find hanging on the wall. That'd be awesome.
That's good stuff. I wonder if any of that artwork ever turns up.
Yeah, on Heritage.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. Getting too much glare.
chimp in the foreground is amazing.
I don't know if this one has the back cover. Yeah, it does.
That's spectacular.
Like that.
These look good next to Turok. My opinion. And he's going to jump the shark. All right. So does anybody have any news, announcements, or anything of the sort? Uh-oh, you're a little monkey. A chimp.
Yeah, that's him, Mr. Chimp.
So does anybody have some business, some monkey business? I got something interesting that I'd like to show here.
Sure.
So I have the Brazilian version of Legends, and I got 1 to 4 and 6. I don't know where I put number 5, but so this is number 1, and they're all 48 pages. They have another story from the regular DC titles alongside, and they were also running parts of the storyline in Superman.
Those are really cool.
So, yeah, this is the introduction of the Suicide Squad.
That's cool. Oh, that's great.
This cover is Superman 3.
Mm-hmm. And then this one. And also there at the end of the story, there's the introduction of the Justice League International. Actually, let me see if I can show a panel here.
Yeah, that looks like an exact duplication.
But the thing that I wanted to talk about actually is that I was looking at the cover prices here, and these were published in 1987 or 8? 1988. And at the time, Brazil was going through hyperinflation. And you can see the cover prices going up by 10 to 20% every month. So people complain, oh, when comics went up from 10 to 12 cents and 12 to 15 after years. No, the Brazilians had it rough. Yeah, issue number 6 was 3 times more expensive than number 1.
Yeah, but could you imagine that kind of inflation with modern Marvel?
Yeah, definitely.
Apollo, did they have subscription services? Because that would throw a monkey wrench in that, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely. And then something similar happened a few years ago. These are from 1992, and they came up with this Armageddon 2001 miniseries, and they came up with in order to make sure that the cover prices were always up to date. Instead of a cover price, they have a code, a letter in the number, and they would give out a table of prices so that the retailers could know how much a comic was supposed to cost. This publisher, they also put out other regular magazines, so it wasn't just for the comics. It basically told you how much any magazine that they put out was supposed to cost. Took a while until the Brazilian economy stabilized after the end of the military dictatorship in 1985. So they were kind of famous for their problems. I think the Western country that reported more on Brazil at the time was Portugal, because of our ancient cultural ties.
So, did you say a relative got you kind of interested in this when you were younger?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No. I just saw. I used to. My dad used to buy me Disney comics whenever we were out on a trip or something. When I was 4, and at 6, I made my dad buy me a Marvel comic. But after a while, he thought I was getting. He thought I was getting addicted on it, and my parents wanted me to quit reading comics by age 10. Yeah, they still haven't lost hope.
So did you have to sneak around, or?
No, but it was kind of hard to ask for money specifically for that. So
Yeah.
So it was only until I was 14, 15 that I had more grandma Christmas money.
Yeah.
And that's when I started buying more. I had to make all the Christmas money hold out until the next Christmas money, especially because my birthday is also in December. So it was a long time where I had to wait for the next batch of grandma money.
December the what, Paulo?
December 16th. But I've been asked, do you get birthday presents? Yes, I always got birthday presents.
It was December the 7th, and sometimes I did get less on my birthday and told I would get, they would make it up to me on Christmas, so.
Yeah. Well, there's always socks.
Right.
Jambo, what do you got there?
Some more DC I'm finding here.
Oh, excellent.
Beat up giant sized Batman there.
Is that 198?
Yes, sir. Good eye. Me like Eric, I think I got that in pretty cheap. And a couple of Flash. Nothing special. It was just in pretty good shape. Scarecrow.
Which one?
Yeah, this is 118 of the Flash. But yeah, there's so many different Scarecrows in comics. Here's a 48-pager. Neil Adams. This one looked a lot like the cover where he's breaking the kryptonite chains to me for some reason.
It kind of does.
Similar pose, yeah. Always wonder if he just kind of recycled.
So what year would that one be? If that's the president, that'd be Gerald Ford?
Doesn't look like him.
No.
That would have been about 1971.
Oh, okay, it's Nixon.
That should be Nixon.
Yeah.
And a nice adventure where Supergirl has murdered all the pets.
Boy.
She seemed like such a nice girl, too.
Yeah.
Pretty gruesome. Dead super pets everywhere. Found my Planet of the Apes #1.
Very nice.
Always like this cover. Wonder Woman.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The one right after was really cool too.
Yeah, that was. I need that one. I haven't got that one, but yeah, both of those were awesome covers.
Did you pick that one up recently? And if you did, how much do you think?
I got this about maybe a couple, 3 years ago, and I think it was about 20, 25 bucks, something like that now, when I bought it. And got one of these. I always liked this series when it was out. I enjoyed it. It was kind of fun to read.
No, the first 3 or 4 years before it became just another X book were phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah, I like
Claremont doing the writing, and I mean, I thought it was pretty entertaining. Never did understand why it didn't take off. I mean, it had some humor in it, and had some of the. Oh, here we go. Guys, and just
it was missing one key element.
No Wolverine.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think it was number 4. I didn't care for the cover because it was just a janitor sweeping.
Yeah.
That would fall into tonight's category pretty good, but I didn't have that one here with me.
It kind of reminded me of that She-Hulk cover where she's all wrapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a ledge up to something that wasn't going to happen.
Oh, awesome.
That's rare.
Yeah, I got that not too long ago, and it was like $3. So I was like, man, I can't
Somebody didn't know what they had.
No.
Yeah. Can't go wrong. I'd never had that one before either. So, and I'll show this because it's getting closer to Halloween. Some nice Dave Stevens.
And it's topical now. Yeah, with her big announcement yesterday.
I didn't hear. What's up?
She's gay.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently she's been living with her girlfriend for 20 years now.
Who knew?
Well, we do now.
What is she?
Actually, I'm not surprised at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised at all.
Good for her.
Didn't they link her with Elvis for a while there?
Well, yeah, she did Elvis and somebody else who was real famous at the time when she was like 20 years old.
Wow. Of course, everybody's been linked with Elvis, you know.
But apparently she did. Elvis nailed her, and there was somebody else, but I can't remember who it was now.
Wow. Somebody thought that was funny.
Well, Grottu, I see you've slipped in. You're handling a long box there. Are you doing okay to pick up?
Oh, it was
boxes?
a magazine box. Yeah, I've been trying to watch on and off here, and some amazing stuff. Yeah, Marie Severin's one of my favorite artists of all time, and
Thank you, Scott.
And I love seeing flames shoot out the back of the Enterprise. I've always loved that gold key imagery. But yeah, let me see. I pulled a couple of things, and I could also show some things I've gotten recently.
Sure.
I was just looking through comics the other night, and this kind of struck me because I can't think of any other children's comic that shows one of the main characters reading a girly magazine on the cover.
That is awesome.
So I don't know. Maybe there's another one out there somewhere. And and this really looks like he's just been sniffing glue, but I don't know if that's intentional. But yeah. Let's see what else I've got. We were going to do a theme of bad art, and
Yeah.
the thing is, well, I've got some examples, but usually the first thing that has to be, I have to see decent art to buy the comic. So I don't wind up with a lot of that. I picked this up because it has a parody of Captain Planet, which was a cartoon I always hated. And it's one of these Toxic Avenger comics where they took a movie that was a hardcore R-rated movie and they turned it into a Marvel comic, and then they turned it into a Saturday morning cartoon, and then this in a toy line, and this is the Marvel adaptation of the Saturday morning cartoon. I never had this issue. It struck me as something you couldn't do now. The villain that looks
Right.
like that. I ran across a comic today I'd never heard of from Marvel's Epic line, and I thought Eric would probably be able to tell me about this. But I looked it up, and apparently in this comic, Nicholas Tesla is the main character. It's like the light and darkness war or something like that. Do you know what that is?
Yes. Actually, if you give me a minute, I'm going to pick up the Brazilian edition.
Okay. Cool. I assume it's good. Apparently there's celebrities, there's like famous people in it, kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But that just sounded fascinating to me. But it was like issue 4 or 5. So
New rule: all queries go through Paulo.
okay. What do you think of that comic? Have you ever read it?
When you said that, the only thing I could think of was Boz Chronicles, but I know that wasn't it. So I think that I'm glad Paulo knew, because I did not.
Yeah, because it's I'd never heard of it either. And
Scott in the chat say this is that.
Yeah, that's like saga, not war. Okay, it's light and darkness something.
Hey, Paul, I'll put you on full.
Yeah, this is the collected edition. Has all the 6 issues in a trade paperback.
Okay.
Also was not normal for Brazil at the time, except for the really cool stuff. And yeah, this is a post-apocalyptic future. Let's see if some art over here. Yeah, this is great.
Oh wow!
So
this is written by Rick Veitch and art by Kim Kennedy.
I like Rick Veitch.
So Tesla has gone into the future. What do you remember? What the plot line was?
Not really, because I actually never got around to finishing this. I bought it and then I filed it away.
Lead Paint's asking about a Dr. Pepper. Oh, this is not old. It's got an old logo on it, which is why I kept it. It's Dr. Pepper was supposedly invented in Waco, Texas, down south of here, but in reality, it was invented by a guy whose name was Dr. Pepper in Rural Retreat, Virginia, a little town that I wanted to move to because it's literally Mayberry. No crime, and it's just a wonderful little place. But anyway, he was a Civil War surgeon, and he had a drugstore later on, and he invented this formula. And then some guy stole the formula and moved to Texas, and then, so Dr. Pepper is buried in Virginia and is forgotten. But so now Waco is the birthplace of Dr. Pepper. But all the soft drink companies switched to using high fructose corn syrup instead of sugar at some point to try to get rid of excess population. Because they want to eliminate a big part of the population as quickly as they can. So anyway, but this one company, one bottling company in Waco kept using sugar and didn't. So people wanted the Dr. Pepper from it was near Waco. It was called Dublin, Texas. So anyway, that's a can from there. Now they don't make it anymore, but now it's a pretty common thing in any gas station to get soft drinks made with actual sugar. Here's another comic that could never be made today. I just found this. I don't know anything. I've never heard of it before, but Captain Confederacy.
think a guy named Will Slattery wrote that or did that book.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it, and I thought I've got to have this. At least he's saving. He's not racist because he's saving an African American woman. But I don't know, something I had to have for my collection.
I've never seen that.
I had the first 6 issues of that once upon a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think they tried to do a collected edition of that a few years ago, but I don't remember it coming out. Otherwise, I would have bought it.
It's got to be more interesting than Captain Canuck.
Well, I mean, it wasn't done to fan flames or anything. I mean, it wasn't that long after the Dukes of Hazzard. So, I mean, Confederate flags were in.
Right. It was you'd go to Six Flags Over Texas. They had a Confederate section, and you'd get it was no big. Yeah, it wasn't really a big bugaboo. It just meant you were from the South. But let me see. I'll show you something that's kind of interesting. If you,
it was epic. Lead Paint. It was epic.
See, it looks like a vintage Steve Ditko comic, and then you realize, it's Indiana Jones. Apparently, he did an issue of Indiana Jones. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Actually, it doesn't look like he did the first few pages, but yeah, it's weird to see instead of Spider-Man and Betty Brant, it's Indiana Jones and whatever that blonde is. So anyway, it's issue 34. I don't know if he did any others. I found massive amounts of certain comics that are in, absolute. This was never read. It was never sold. It was taken. It was immediately put in a bag and left in a box for however many years it's been since the 80s.
So yeah, Gravity saw. Jerry actually, I guess, remembers it.
Oh, yeah, it looks anti-racist. I mean, it would have to be because it's not like the 80s, whenever that came out, or 90s were that backwards.
No.
So let me see what else I've got. If anything. Interesting. I got something that's kind of a minor. Well, it's a holy grail for me, and it's nothing. I'm sure you guys have had it for years, but when I was in 3rd grade, Marvel put out a line of T-shirts. There were white T-shirts. One was the Luke Cage, the Hero for Hire issue 1. One was the Submariner cover where he's facing up against Dr. Doom. And my mother bought me that one. And she bought me a Captain America one with a black cover. I forget what issue number. And then I had a Hulk one. I don't have these anymore, and I never had the actual issue. So I was able to find a copy in good shape, and it's Marie Severin, and it's I'm sure you all have this, but I've never had it, and I've never been able to find it in decent shape. But yeah, Marie Severin is just one of my idols. I mean, she's got this amazing style. I mean, so does her brother. But and I fell in love with her art through Not Brand X, and then you later find out she's responsible for a good amount of the look of EC Comics and everything. So,
by the way, Grottu, if I can interject for a moment,
yeah,
we do have a celebrity in chat.
Okay.
Yeah, Comic Quirks with Jimmy. That's the guy that Dan Slott went after a couple weeks ago. He was the lead story in Comic Book YouTube for 2 days after that. The Quartering did a video on him.
Huh.
So,
well, I watched your friend England team go up against a guy a couple of nights ago that was saying, these are just imaginary characters. It's okay to change them however you want for movies. It's like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah. I left a comment in the video saying that guy had a very superficial understanding of the artistic value of works, and the guy now wants to debate me.
Oh, he does.
Wow.
Yeah, tell him Wednesday, 8:00.
Yeah, you should do it. You
I
tear him up.
don't think he wants to debate more than one person at a time, because he made a comment
Jimmy.
like, "I'm not going to pick on everyone in chat," or so I don't know.
Yeah, give him credit for going on and staying on. Apparently, I didn't watch much of it because I'm just not interested in that anymore.
Yeah,
But I understand he was respectful, given that diametrically opposed.
right. It wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't a total jerk.
We had a guy on one time that debated us, and we were very nice to him. We were in the process of inviting him back when he goes, "Well, I just wanted to on my way say you're all Nazis."
Oh,
And then yeah.
That's usually the way they are. I still haven't seen the Master of Kung Fu movie that's out, but I bet it doesn't look anything like this.
You would be correct.
Admit it, son of Fu Manchu. In me, you have met your master and your doom. Can you imagine if it was like this?
That would be so cool.
I would go see that. Yeah.
And why is it they can't? Disney doesn't have the money to pay off the Sax Romer estate. I'm pretty sure Fu Manchu's public domain, but Fu Manchu is racist. Why can't you have a villain? Because the hero's also Asian. So why can't you have an evil villain that's Asian? As long as it's balanced. I mean, if the only Asian in the movie was Fu Manchu, like the Christopher Lee movies or Boris Karloff, but if there are Asian good people in the movie, I don't know. I just don't think they should have changed it.
Isn't the Mandarin the villain in the movie?
Yes, but I don't think they call him the Mandarin ever in the movie, from what I understand. Like they often don't ever use names because it's embarrassing, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh well.
This is what a couple generations of college students have done to us.
By the way, I found some Tesla pages here.
Okay.
Yeah, Tesla does go to the future. There's a bit of telepathy involved, and then a time machine, and Leonardo da Vinci appears as well.
Yeah, I was reading the blurb on mycomicshop.com, and it mentioned Leonardo da Vinci as well. Yeah. Tesla is a very fascinating person.
Yeah, I have a comic that who was it that did it? Joe Casey came out a few years ago through Image called "The Five Fists of Science," and Tesla is one of the team members.
And when he died, there's always the story that the government came in and swooped up and confiscated all of his research and all of his. But apparently, from what I understand, Donald Trump's uncle was the first guy to go in there and see all the. So I don't know. I mean, apparently that's a true story, but it could be wrong. But I've heard it from multiple sources.
So he has the death ray.
Well, it's not. It's there are death rays, but then there's also the real reason that they don't want us to have that is it would destroy. Supposedly, he had a way for you to get electricity through the air, like Wi-Fi goes through the air, and so you never have to pay the electric company. It would just the electric. Of course, it would. Who knows what that would do to our bodies? I don't know, but he was brilliant.
Yes, he was.
One of the things that he had a theory on how you could use vibrations to wreck the Earth, split it in two, and he once turned on an oscillator that created those types of vibrations, and the police went up to his house and told him to shut it off.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Some of the scientists that have created our world, and we went to the moon because of this insane Satanist that What's his name? My mind's going on me, man. But Parsons, yeah, it was Parsons. Yeah, he was into that Ordo Templi Orientis or whatever, and he was in then what's his face, the science fiction writer that invented Scientology came in. And,
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, yeah. And then he stole Parsons' wife and a lot of his money, but it's crazy. And all the Nazi scientists, it's like everything we've got has been invented by these insane mad scientists. Our space program and all of this.
Yeah, just real quick, Jimmy, that's true. But if you do a deep dive into Marie Severin, she was she goes back to the 50s. I know her brother worked for EC. Did she do any work for EC?
Coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because
all the books, most.
Yeah, I will say one thing I like about Jimmy, he's young. Yeah, he's gonna by the time he's eligible to be on this show, we'll all be gone. But he is willing to learn, and that's very commendable of him. So I said he'll look that up, and
yeah. And then she was coloring the Marvel covers in the 60s, which were very kind of dark and muted colors, like the EC covers were. And Stan Lee hated it, but she just wouldn't listen to him.
Well, she probably beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, I think he was probably a little scared of her. I don't know if she was older than him or about the same age.
About the same age.
Sister of John Severin.
But yeah, she beat his ass too.
I know she was rude to Milton Knight. He was talking about how she did not like his art on Mighty Mouse. She had to work with him, and she wrote little nasty comments on the side of the original art that she knew was going to be returned to Milton Knight. So,
speaking of it, I've got a Jim Shooter story. He was at the show this weekend, and I got this secondhand, but rumor has it that when Frank Miller left after Daredevil to go do Ronin for DC, he came back, and and when he came back, he asked for more work, and Shooter said sure, and he goes, let me show you what I just did, and he showed him Ronin, and Shooter said, this is shit.
But Ronin was supposed to be one of the first epic comics. The line was going to be it was going to be all the Marvel superstars except Byrne. So it'll be Frank Miller's Ronin, Walt Simonson's Star Slammers, and Jim Starlin's Dreadstar. But in the end, only Dreadstar had an ongoing series. Star Slammers only had a graphic novel. We would have to wait another 10 years for more Star Slammers at Malibu, and Ronin went to DC because Jeanette Kahn invited Frank Miller to lunch one day.
Oh, really?
That's interesting.
Did Paul ever tell you his Frank Miller stories, Eric?
No.
Yeah, he said he used to be from around there. He came up there or something like that, and he actually came in the store, is what Paul told me, and was wanting to work there. And
now, I know that Robert Kirkman had been in the store several times before he got big. Nick Spencer was from the area, so he used to come into the store. I'd never heard that about Frank Miller, and
I don't think Paul had any work for him at the time, and this was before anything ever happened with Frank Miller and stuff, and he went on to bigger and better things. But
he'll tell you he discovered him.
Yeah. Here's a nice Gil Kane. See, I do like some Gil Kane, and you'll probably recognize that book, Eric.
Yeah, that's
it came from Comic Book World up there. You probably priced that. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
from 15 pedigree.
Yeah, that's the Iron Man 55 had the 15 pedigree on it too. But so did the Fantastic Four 112 that I was able to get affordably as a result.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I
that
didn't mind
was
the 15. Yeah, it was wrote in Sharpie or something, but I mean, the rest of the book is not terrible. And I mean,
no. I mean, I'm guessing this guy, probably bought them. I know there were used places, and instead of wasting a price sticker, they would just write it on there. And I don't know.
It would be worth something one day, I guess.
But it could have been, the price sticker could have ripped the cover off with it. So I guess you were, But I said it cost us some money, but it was made for some nice deals.
That was a pretty good collection y'all had in there at that time.
Yeah, that was a truckload. That's how I got hired.
Oh, really?
Mark bought a truck, a literal truckload, and he was
pickup
just
truck or a semi.
It was like a cube van, kind of like the one that Paul used to take to the shows.
Okay.
And because that's what he put it in, it filled it, and he was just going to flip it. Then he got an idea. Said, "Well, maybe I should see what's in it." And I just happened to be in the store. I said, "Well, why don't I do that for you?" And so we used that to create what became the tent sale. But I separated what was worth more than that, and that's when I found Batman Adventures 12. I'm sure we all know what that is.
Yeah.
That fortunately did not have a 15 written on it.
Nice.
But yeah, it was turned out to be quite the truckload.
There's some, I picked a few books out of that. Those boxes you had in the back there.
It had everything from, I think the Batman Adventures was close to mint, all the way to a long box that I was not able to salvage a single book out of.
That grease pencil was probably put on there in the mid to late 70s when taking a 25 cent book down to 15 cents was logical. I don't think they would have done that with the Harley Quinn comic.
I know that I was just joking about that.
There was a wide variety of stuff in that collection. It was very cool.
It was a blast to go through, and I got out of the back of the store looking like Beirut. But yeah, so I mean, it just apparently it worked out because I'm still there.
That's great. Yeah, I must have been up there right after that came in, probably a few days after that came in.
Yeah, Jerry, erase that. What's wrong with you?
You guys were mentioning Fu Manchu earlier. These are the scans for the 1958 Fu Manchu.
Huh.
And so they're taking this character, and there's Nayland Smith,
right?
The redhead.
Yeah.
So these all go to Marvel. So anywho, no biggie.
That was IW. Was that reprinted from something else?
I don't know that, but it was definitely IW.
I want to see scans of that comic, The Killers, or The Killers 3, I think it's called. One of them, it looks like Fu Manchu, and one is the guy that just throws knives. It's that's a comic I've always been fascinated with. Seeing it in the price guide every year for years.
You never see it out in the wild, though. I've never seen one out in the wild.
No, I don't see Golden Age comics in the wild. Hardly ever.
I mean, guys, that was a seduction book, and it's probably sought after anyway. Probably pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Anybody else have an opinion on that? I said I answered it was the best ongoing horror series ever.
Well, I'm not close enough to see the comments. How are the original Puma Dracula books? Is that what you're asking? Oh, they're great.
Yeah, they're very good. Gene Colan, that was his niche right there. I mean, he was made to do that title, I think.
Yeah. They're not as good as that, though, right?
No, of course not.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw that while I was eating. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that Gardner Fox wrote the first couple, then Jerry Conway did a couple, and Wolfman wrote about the last 65
Yeah.
or so.
First Doctor Who comic in the US. They did not start reprinting from Doctor Who magazine #1. Doctor Who had a magazine in the UK, official magazine, and it was not strictly comics, but they always had 2 ongoing stories inside, and the rest were articles and interviews about the TV show. And I'm not sure if it's still going. The thing was published by Marvel UK, but when Marvel went bankrupt, Panini kept publishing and kept the numbering. So there are 300 something at least of Doctor Who magazine in the UK.
I've never seen an episode of Doctor Who.
Neither have I.
I'm not knocking it. I grew up with a book called Monsters Who's Who. It was a who's who of monsters. And I bought it, like my parents bought it for me in 3rd, 4th grade, and it had monsters from Marvel Comics, from mythology. And then it must have been printed in England because it also had the Daleks and some other Doctor Who monsters in it. I'd read about them, but the show was never shown here. It wasn't shown until the 80s when Tom Baker, I guess, was the most popular Doctor Who. And
my favorite. Yeah.
I mean, it was on Saturday night. They would run it on the local PBS station. And I was in college at the time. And usually I was out on Saturday nights. And when I come home, I'd see this. In England, they have this, it's a union thing. And on TV shows, like it's a TV show isn't strictly shot on film or shot on videotape. It's shot on film when they're outside, and as soon as they walk indoors, all of a sudden it changes the videotape and it looks completely different. And someone explained to me that when videotape came in, the people that operated film cameras, their union demanded they still have work, so they'll shoot all the outdoor footage on film. And to me, that jarring change just looked cheap. And but I understand the writing is brilliant, and you can just watch it and just, go with it, because, I was willing to go with all the fake rocks and Star Trek and Lost in Space. But somehow I don't know. I bought the Marvel comics when they came out in the late 70s. I want to like it. I've just never given it a chance, but there's a lot of people into it that are kind of obnoxious here in the States. So that's it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering or something. It's just something I stay away from because I don't want to insult people that are into those things. I need to shut up.
Keep going.
No, I mean, I just know because there's probably one of you on the panel is into that stuff, and I'll just sound like an a-hole.
Nope.
I don't know. Or just like the comic. I just long for when Lone Star Comics first opened in Arlington in '77. It was comics, and then there was science fiction paperbacks. There was nothing else, and I kind of liked having that. But now we've got half the store devoted to Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and people staring reverently at some little. I worship wacky packages, but they had some character. But I worship them like they worship their little Charizard foil cards. But
our store when it first opened was just called Book World, and half of it was like dime store novels. This was back in 1981. Yeah. I mean, there's the obligatory bunch of romance novels, but there was a lot of, the older stuff that I would love to get a hold of again. I mean, I have a bookcase full of it, but.
Was it mostly paperbacks?
Oh yeah, all paperbacks and all dime store novel size.
Because there was a bookstore near me. It wasn't it wasn't really a collector's bookstore. It was the ones where housewives bring their books back and trade them for new ones. And the spines are all, destroyed where you can barely read the titles because they open the book and break the spine. And it was all those kind of books. Then they added some comics in there, but that's just what I visualize.
See, Anthony Perdue's in the chat. That guy has a wealth of knowledge.
Have I missed him? Oh, yeah, I got him. Yeah.
Oh.
True.
Yeah, they've reproduced that in hardcover, luckily.
Yeah, I have the Craig Yo book, the Dick Reefer Frankenstein.
And then I've got some that are from
Very nice.
whatever that company is that does the hardcover books. I've got them over there. Yeah, they're wonderful. And it's weird because it starts as a horror series and then it turns into a little cutesy cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Yeah, I've seen those at half price books. Every time I do, there's always 5 or 6 other ones I want.
Yeah.
So by the time I get around to going back for them, they're gone.
Yeah. I meant to say, I see my name in the chat. What is it?
He's trying to turn you on to a Doctor Who episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be glad to. Is it on YouTube? Or yeah, I'll watch it. The only Doctor Who I saw were those Peter Cushing movies that were apparently authorized but not really related to the TV show. Yeah, look at that.
Very cool.
And then Castle of Frankenstein, the monster magazine in the 60s, stole the logo. Like, they traced it exactly from those old comics.
Sweet.
These are great books. The Chilling Archives of Horror Comics by Craig Yo.
Yeah, Craig Yo is great.
I've got about 7 of those. One of them's a horror book of just Don Heck.
Yeah, I have that one. It's beautiful, isn't it?
They all are. I don't think are they doing those anymore because they were coming out. I mean, it was $25 for 150 pages, and I thought that was a pretty good deal.
I did too because the quality, the binding, and the paper was really nice, right? I have the giants as well. The big Gorgo and the big Conga are really nice.
I wonder if we could get Craig Yo into a live stream with us. I mean, obviously is very much, I don't know if he's politically aligned, but I think he's very not politically aligned with, at least with me, but obviously his taste in pop culture is completely in sync. Yeah, see, it goes from this straight horror to gradually morphs into comedy.
Did either of you guys collect? Did any of you guys collect the Yao Harry Potter, the reprints in comic book form of the old pre-code horrors, Haunted Horror, and then Weird Love?
Yeah, I have a few. I have some of them, and I have the Weird Love hardback.
They used to be the best. That used to be the thing I most look forward to on Wednesdays.
They're
Me
great.
too. Yeah, I'd go into Lone Star Comics, and that's all I would buy because none of the new comics interested me.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, that art's really tough to sell to younger crowds. Even I'm not big of a fan of Dick Briefer, but sometimes you take a look at the early work of people like Gil Kane, Gene Colan, John Buscema, and while it's not the things that we know, you can see the things that they're going to become. Like John Buscema in particular suffered a tremendous transformation in art style when he went back to Marvel in the mid '60s. I was looking at some of his Marvel monster work from the '50s, and you can tell, yeah, this is Buscema. It's just missing that the dynamic style is stole from Kirby, because when Stan Lee told all the artists to draw like Kirby, Buscema was very good at incorporating it without losing his personal touch.
I don't know why kids would have trouble adapting to that style. Have you seen some of the Tumblr art that's being published in today's
But
comics?
I remember the first time I read the first issues of the Marvel stories. The Brazilians did a kind of their own version of Origins of Marvel Comics and Son of Origins of Marvel Comics, and I was looking, yeah, this looks kind of old, but then I started paying attention to the details. So it's not something that catches at first, but you have to work to understand. So I understand why some kids don't like old art.
Well, I think what I think kids have more of a problem with, if they don't read modern Bendis, is all the wordiness. I mean, you got to read those old comics, man. It's like when you read those and then read a Roy Thomas book to save time, those are wordy. And kids have this just in. A lot of kids have ADD.
Right, and it seemed like every comic from the time period I like had about 9 panels on every page, and it was wordy, and it was fun to read. And the only time you'd have a full page panel is if Galactus appeared. It was like something apocalyptic, and it wouldn't happen that often. It would be a big deal to show a whole page, like some amazing invention Reed Richards had or something, or Spider-Man finally pushing stuff off of them, in the sewer. That would warrant a full page because it's been building up for a couple of issues. But now every comic that you pick up, it's like every page just about is a full page panel with about 2 words on it.
Yeah.
And then you read the comic in about 4 minutes after paying $6 or $7 for it.
Right. And no storytelling at all.
And the ink comes off on your
Actually,
fingers.
Jimmy, I wasn't.
Yeah.
This time. I lost my train of thought. One thing I would have liked to have seen, though, when in the 40s and 50s, almost every comic was the same. I would have loved to have seen EC take an occasional chance and maybe done like a 4-panel page or something, because it was so innovative, but they never broke from the structure.
The only thing I wish that EC did different, but I understand why they didn't, was the lettering. And yes. William Gaines did that because he was a nice guy, and there was a couple that I understand that did the lettering, and he didn't want to fire them because I guess his dad had employed them and they were nice, and he's just like, but Harvey Kurtzman wouldn't have anything up. So in his books, the war books and Mad, it was hand lettered more traditionally. It's just, to me, it makes it something about it is kind of cumbersome. I don't know. It doesn't have the visual. If those EC books had, more traditional lettering, that's the only thing that is a little off-putting at first about them. But now it's become real iconic with those. So it's.
Oh yeah, it just would have been neat to see. I mean, I mean, hell, I mean they're damn near flawless, but it just would have been, interesting just on occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could have seen a lot more like of Wally Wood art or Johnny Craig art or something like that on Big Splash or something.
Like the baseball game story. If you make
Yeah.
a couple of those panels bigger.
Right.
Yeah, everybody on this panel, I'm sure, agrees with you, Jimmy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they don't have those anymore. I didn't
No,
know.
there's no exposition. There's no thought balloons. It's all, the artist is supposed to be able to tell the story, and not all of them can.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they're just so fundamentally different than the stuff we enjoy that, it doesn't, hell, that, the main thing is, I said, that turns us off is the political messaging usually.
Yeah.
But the lack of thought balloons, the lack of exposition, I mean, all the things that made comics fun growing up and into our young adulthood is all gone.
Yeah, and it's just the art. A lot of the art is just, I kill in and it's like, oh, there's a Fantastic. It's known that I like Fantastic Four. It's like, well, the art's terrible. I have no interest in this. I mean, I don't care. It's the 60th anniversary, or and it's like, well, that would have been cool if someone had tried to make the art look like it did back then, but
or if the writer wasn't a huge jackass.
I don't. Is the writing bad? I imagine.
It's Dan Slott, the guy that attacked Jimmy.
Oh, f that. And just the fact that apparently the Thing doesn't smoke cigars anymore.
Well, that was something that I think Joe Quesada did about 20-something years ago.
Oh, really?
Wolverine, Nick Fury, and Ben Grimm all had to quit smoking.
Well, since kids don't, I don't know. What do they think reads these things? I don't know. Oh, boy.
Well, it's not just them. Remember, with the Simon and Garfunkel box set cover, they airbrushed the cigarette out of Paul Simon. So he's sitting there like this with nothing in between his fingers now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well.
He probably did lead paint.
So
I don't think there was an art. It's just kind of happened naturally because many of the new writers they have cinema as their main source of inspiration, and they think in terms of the art, the art in the story being cinematic. And the old guys from the Silver Age through the Bronze Age, they were inspired by pulp novels, science fiction and fantasy novels, and so they didn't have a problem with exposition and inner thoughts. We are used to seeing inner monologue in literature because it's normal, since everything is being described by the writer. So are the thoughts. We can see the thoughts because the writer can tell us about it, and transposing that to a comic, it's even better because it's like the thoughts are part of the action themselves.
did you guys see David Lynch's Dune when it was first released in theaters, and the audience's reaction to you could hear them thinking, just like people were just like really just laughing hysterically that people were like in a soap opera. You could hear their thoughts. I liked the movie, but it was not it didn't go over well. That's why one of the reasons I think the movie didn't do too well. People were kind of didn't know what to think of it.
It may have been an editorial directive at Marvel, but DC was already doing the same thing even by the late 90s. There were a bunch of DC comics that didn't have thought balloons. There were Marvel comics that didn't have thought balloons. Even the Punisher didn't have thought balloons. It was all narrative captions. So that Quesada imposed it. It was just something that was already going on naturally.
Well, I think all the books are just being made to be storyboards for potential movie projects. So that
Nowadays, yeah. And I have a friend who used to buy 4-issue miniseries packed in the same bag because he had heard that they were optioned for a movie and he wanted to take a look at them.
Yeah.
But most of it is pretty forgettable. They think that making the comic makes them better, but it's a generic idea to begin with, made with generic art that is unimpressive.
Yeah.
So of course they're never actually going to work. Although I think that to them the unimpressive is okay because it helps the producers visualize in terms of budget, which for a real comic is not a problem.
I picked this up because I've heard so much good about it, and it's the Stray Dog. This was just printed, the Stray Dogs graphic novel, which is apparently, I guess, going into production, and it was a 5-issue miniseries, which is just, in other words, it was created to be made into a movie. That's just the right length. So it's, I mean, the artwork is really beautiful. I mean, you can see it being a fully animated movie. It's just apparently kind of a twisted storyline, but I haven't read it yet, so I'm gonna. Says, what do you get when you crossbreed Silence of the Lambs with all dogs go to heaven? Well, I don't know about. It looks more like Disney animation, sort of like if they can animate it well, then well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to reading that, though. Apparently, this is a pretty high dollar book now. This
it is.
Yeah.
Assuming you can get anybody to pay money for a DC in 2021.
Yeah. What is the deal with the Teen Titans comics? Why are they so, in my opinion, undervalued? It's a TV show. It's not a bad TV show. The comics have wonderful artwork by George Perez. They're fun to read. They were great in their time. I think they still read well. Why is it hard for them to break $5 when you look them? I mean, I don't know.
I think a lot of the good comics from that era, not X-Men, are hovering around that area. Remember, Teen Titans, that series, 1 has some value, 2 has a lot of value because it's first Deathstroke,
right,
and 44 because it's the first Nightwing. But I am a little surprised that the whole Judas Contract storyline doesn't get more money. Like Tara's first appearance means nothing; it's not valuable at all. So I don't know, but I think it's probably a combination of the fact that it is DC and there's just if there's not a bat on it, it's hard. They're hard sells, and there's a lot of them out there, and now they're And I think because there is a prior series that goes it's smack dab in the Silver Age. I think that's the one. Yeah, that one is worth some money across the board.
Yeah, I just would have thought the new Teen Titans that started not a year or so after, a couple of years after the new X-Men would be sought after like the X-Men.
They kind of were at the time. I worked in a comic shop in 1982 and 1983, and those were really popular books at that time. And we shelved a ton of them, and they would sell out every month.
See, that's what I remember. I remember when I was buying them off when they came out that I thought, well, this is a hot title, and I'm in on the beginning. I missed out the first few issues of the new, and then it's just like then it just seemed like the bottom fell out. Even though it's a TV, it was a cartoon that was very popular, and then 2 cartoon series, if not 3. It's been animated feature film in theaters, and now it's going into its third season, I think, of a not bad show.
That series was worth more 30 years ago than it is now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, how does that happen? There was a woman in her 30s looking for Hawk and the Dove comics the other week, and I said, well, we're talking about the TV show, which is where she knows the characters from, and she knew a lot about the characters, and I said, well, I showed her the Teen Titans comic from the early 80s, and I said, well, it's kind of weird. This was meant for kids, and if with a few edits in that series, they could make it something that kids could watch. And she was shocked that she says, oh, it was meant for kids. She apparently didn't understand that comics were originally meant for kids, because she's in her 30s and comics were never part of her experience. And she just figures these are meant for, because you go in a comic store, you only pretty much see adults. So you figure this is stuff made for adults, and she did. And especially if you're watching that TV show that likes to show a lot of inappropriate things we can't mention, even though they follow the storylines a lot more closely than most superhero adaptations.
Jackson brings up a good point. Because in the 80s, New Teen Titans were comparable in value to the X-Men.
Yes.
And I think this is a perfect example of the difference between how Marvel back issues sell versus DC. It's 10-1, and I'm probably undershooting it.
Wow.
I'm about to fall asleep. Yeah, it's 3:30. 3:30. I've managed to hold out quite a lot today, and I have to wake up early. I have to. I'm test driving an electric Mercedes, and I have to give the car back in the morning.
Nice.
Well, we appreciate one eye open.
We appreciate you coming on, and we know this is kind of a task for you to do every time. So
this is fun.
Well, good.
This is fun, and next week I have a new schedule, and so I get off work at midnight, so I'll still be up at 1 and ready to go.
And Scott, thank you for dropping in. Y'all can see Scott every was it Friday night or Saturday night?
Friday nights on Jared Osborne's channel, The Cavern of Chaos.
And I participated in the chats on that, and I liked it. I didn't see any caverns, but it was a pretty good little show. So.
But there is a lot of chaos. Because we don't have a theme. We'll just talk about anything and let the conversation flow.
Paulo's always bringing stuff I've never seen before, which is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, but everybody's got very eclectic tastes. Nobody's confined to superheroes, especially because Jared, having worked for Marvel during the 90s and early zeros, he doesn't feel the need to read more superheroes. But everybody has a very broad range of tastes, and between all of us, we can cover a lot of ground without repeating ourselves.
True.
Okay. Well, I'm out of here. Thank you very much for having me. And keep reading old comics.
Definitely.
Good night, Paulo.
Take care, buddy.
Good night.
And Jambo, were you cheated out of winning Saturday's cover slingers, or I had read that somewhere?
If you listen to Jackson, yes, but I got 10s on everything I showed on the
Yeah.
show, but yeah, there's a great equalizer. It's called the chat, and they get a vote too. And yeah, they weren't liking what I was showing, I guess. So.
Of the little part that I was in, every time I was there, I did go with the other guys on a few things. I didn't get to vote for you. I usually try to throw you a vote, but I couldn't watch the whole thing, so I had to get out of there.
Yeah, it's all good. Bill had some good books he was showing, Comic Mag Musings. So it's all fun anyway, so I don't really care. But
Do you remember your subject for next week?
I don't. I'll have to watch the show again to remember what it was. I do not remember, and I haven't looked at one book yet to bring on there.
And you all need to go see Meyer Greenblatt's latest video. He almost steps on a crab. No, he doesn't. He saw it plenty of time. But if you like to see nature photography, he's got a nice little crab video there.
Nice.
Yes, I do.
Did you get a day at the beach, Meyer?
Yeah. Pretty
Nice.
much any day. I live at the beach, so yeah.
You're real close. Okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm walking distance. Like a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, speaking of things that you guys all had, one of the things I spent a good chunk of my convention doing was looking for that from Beyond the Unknown.
Yeah.
I wanted that so bad. Couldn't find one.
It really costs $40-$50 to get in a con these days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was that for one day or for both days?
Wait a second. Is Comics in Review Evil Black Cat with a different name? Or do I just pick up trolls everywhere I go now?
Jambo was asking you, Eric, was that price for the whole weekend or just the day?
I think it was more for the whole weekend.
Oh,
Wow.
That would be good. It's $40 a day.
Yeah,
Wow.
40 or $50. That's the last con I went to a couple weeks ago, I think the Saturday ticket price was $45. Yeah, so that's a bit much for me, man. I have a hard time paying that.
Why isn't he backyard instead of?
Because he's got ADD and he has to change his name every other day. So, Graphic, mind if I show something?
Yeah.
I guess you guys all remember the Creeps magazine and how somebody from the Warren estate complained and they had to change the name.
Yeah.
So today the first issue of Shudder came out, and tell me if this isn't an awesome troll job.
yeah.
It's loaded with creeps to give you the shudders, and they even said featuring original Warren writers and artists. But I think this was awesome. I mean,
That's a great cover. I want one of those.
what a great FU.
Didn't come out where I'm at.
I need to look for that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Well, the problem was it happened so suddenly that a lot of them get, I had to, they got dropped off of pull lists and dropped off of order forms. So if you weren't aware of what had happened, you may not have even thought to order it for the store. But yeah, so that cover made me chuckle.
What was the insides like, Eric?
Oh, it looks like it's same as the Creeps. I mean, it looks like an old Warren magazine.
Yeah.
I mean, they're awesome. They do this and that Vampirus Carmilla.
Yeah.
And they're both in that style. And they're kind of it's the new haunted horror and weird love. It's the two things I look forward to the most.
Yeah.
So what's the cover price?
$6.
Not bad.
No, for 2021. I mean, it's
Yeah.
It's average.
and
Sorry,
it's
Jabbo. I cut you off.
regular, rank and file comics. So and they're up to $5 and $6 now.
I cut Jabbo
Yep.
off. He was picking up the back issues or something, he said.
Those Vampirus Carmillas, I've been getting those, but I haven't seen that one yet. So I'll have to check around a few of the shops and see if they got any in.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
It
Let's
seems
see.
like the Creeps was always carried by what's the big book chain that's in the malls?
Walden?
I think Barnes and Noble. There aren't any Waldens around here anymore. Seems like Barnes and Noble carries the Creeps, but I haven't been at that mall near me in a long time, a few years. But none of those have been carried by my local comic shop.
Can they not get them in, or have you asked? Or
I've asked about. I think he's going to order the Vampirus Carmilla. I mean, he'll probably just order one for me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's dropping his orders on the Vampirella comic. I don't know why anyone reads that. It's terrible.
yeah, I know.
The art is terrible inside, and just a bunch of strippers on the cover.
Yeah.
The Barbarella comic doesn't look any good. Maybe there's just a bunch of junk out there. This Red Sonja comic, again, it's just a bunch of strippers on the cover. I don't know what's going on. I mean, these comics that I once loved are there's nothing anywhere remotely resembling what they were like in the 70s.
Some of the Vampirella comics, because I mean, there's the main series, and then there's all kinds of other ones. Some of them kind of at least try to recapture the old feel. But yeah, Christopher Priest, he's the writer on that, and he's a tremendous writer with a great track record.
Okay.
But he just took off in a really odd direction with that book, and it's just let's say Venkman's a huge Vampirella fan. I don't think he reads the main series, but he reads everything else that she's in. That should tell you.
Well, I just like the stuff from the 70s. It was drawn by Spanish artists. She looked Latin. It was just to me, that's what Vampirella was.
By the way, there's Mr. Rigamortis. He wrote to me saying he wishes he could build up the courage to appear on a Graphic Man stream. And I said, you just keep practicing. We'll have you on one day. No problem.
Yeah.
Have you seen what this is?
Yeah, anybody can do this. How Chimp can do this.
Rigor Mortis was asking me what these books were here on the shelf. And I was trying to explain to him what they were. And I guess I could do that now. I haven't dusted this in a while. God damn it. Excuse my language. It's these giant
Hey,
books.
something cool, you guys. Check this out.
Oh yeah, I have that.
This is the Long Tom combat scope. Right? It's for watching cartoons from behind the couch while you're like conducting military operations in the living room when you're 6.
Yeah.
In the 1960s,
can you really do that?
Little boys were encouraged to low crawl around the living room and pretend that they were like checking out enemy lines or something from behind the couch.
Right.
Boy, I would have used that. Wow.
I think this is what he was asking about that he saw on the background. It's these incredibly heavy books that are cumbersome, they're really cool. It's just before the internet, this is how you have these little, they're all the size of the postage stamp, but it's supposed to have every comic from the Golden Age. And then volume 2 there's 2 volumes, and they're really big, and it's like it's like annoying, like having an omnibus. It's just,
Yeah.
they're not, it's an omnibus is not fun to read because it weighs about 10 pounds in your lap and you're afraid you're going to fall asleep and drop it. And it's worth $150. And it's like, I just rather have, I don't know.
Do you have the 2 Marvel photojournal books?
No, I don't think so. This one has, well, I don't know what.
Well, there's the 2 that just have everything, and then Marvel. There's 2 for Marvel also.
Yeah, I remember that. Pinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has DC. I see it has Indian Fighters, more fun. Lone
Those
Ranger.
Awesome.
I just have these 2 volumes. I don't remember when they came out. What did they sell for? Yeah, I remember buying these. I mean, this was a neat thing in whatever year these came out, but it was pre-internet. Now, just going to mycomicshop.com, this might be where they get a lot of their pictures is from here. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember it was a big deal when these came out, and I remember it was pre-internet.
Oh, those are indispensable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's then there's a bunch of Betty Page books, and this book. I've had this book since I was a little kid. I forgot about this book. This book we got in Germany. So I guess it's from about 1970. But I see some of my brother's art there that looks like Don Martin art in the center, and then my art with the little smiley faces. So I must have been about 5. But it's just reprints of different comic strips. It's in German, but you can enjoy the pictures. So it's got
Good night, Anthony.
See you, Anthony, buddy.
See Anthony.
Yeah, yeah, Snoopy talking in German, stuff like that. But it has, of course, the Phantom, because Phantom's popular everywhere but the United States. So, yeah, but I don't speak German. So, anyway.
Well, let me take this opportunity to say that next week I would like to go over some Scalp Hunter, and we'd like to have some American Indian comics of all varieties, Tonto, anything. If you find some Indians on a cover, a Rawhide Kid, show the Rawhide Kid, Dell, Indian Chief, you name it. I'm sure there's hundreds, if not 1,000 of them that we could probably show. But like to look through a little Scalp Hunter and some stuff like that for next time.
I love that comic. And one thing about Jonah Hex, I wish they'd never gone back and explained the origins of his facial injury. I thought that was a big mistake. To me, the Star Wars prequels never should have happened. We don't need to know the backstory of Darth Vader. Use your imagination. Just the little bits were said by Kenobi, or all you need to know. The 3 movies were a waste, in my opinion. Why in the early Jonah Hex, you don't know, was it a pact with the devil? Was it a Civil War injury? We didn't know. It was mysterious. And then you take the mystery out of it by showing, the Indians did it. The Native Americans did it to him. So I didn't like that. But I mean, I did because it's Jonah Hex, but I wish they hadn't done that. I love that comic. And Scalp Hunter is great too.
I love Scalp Hunter. I like Jonah Hex too. I like all the weird Western tales.
I sure wish that could have, as a kid, I read it and I was seeing a movie in my head. I was seeing like a weird, horrifying spaghetti western.
Yeah.
And so Hollywood had to crap on that too, and I never even saw that movie. But I don't think I need to. It was good casting, but apparently he can talk to the dead or something, like Hellboy or something. He has some superpowers.
Yeah.
If I ran Hollywood, I would make get Clint Eastwood's son, who looks just like Clint Eastwood in his prime. Make him Jonah Hex. Make it widescreen close-ups of eyes, Italian spaghetti western looking horrifying. It's just all there, but of course they'll never do it.
Make him Harry Callahan's son and make him come clean up this mess.
You know, I love when he goes into the future of the Hex books, and then I remember that really sad story of Jonah Hex as an old man, and he's married to an Indian woman, and he winds up being stuffed and put in a Old West show after he died.
Yeah, wasn't that one of those DC special issues?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was a good story.
I remember in 5th grade when we lived in Tacoma, Washington, in Seattle, by the waterfront, there's a store that's been there forever, and it's still there, called Ye Old Curiosity Shop. And it's got this dead, they say he's a gunfighter, just some dead guy from the Old West that they found in the desert, and he's been mummified, and they dress him up, I think, and it's a store that actually has a dead body in it, and it sells weird things like totem poles and fake mermaids that were exhibited in freak shows or carnivals, and it's a neat little place. I remember, but yeah, that was kind of weird seeing a dead guy in a store. They never did that in Stuckey's.
Everything else but that in the Stuckey's.
I wish I could go back. I think Stuckey's still exist.
They do, yeah.
I don't know if they're what I remember they were, but
strategically placed about 2 miles from every rest area.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to pull the plug here in about a second. Does anybody have any special announcements, anything?
You're not a doctor. That's your bedside manner. I'm going to plug in about a second. It's like, oh, gee, thanks, doctor.
But we'll give you some aspirin. So.
Bedside manner.
Next week, of course, this was every other weekend. Captain Strangelove wants the week off so he doesn't get too overrun. And of course, we had some family situations arise for Charlton 66 and Dr. Silverage. And I get their names all scattered. So we'll be back in full force next week. And you all show up then at 8 o'clock Wednesday Eastern. And hopefully we'll see some good war paint and things of that ilk. Anybody have any big announcements before we cut the plug here?
I may be making a video. Maybe.
Oh, cool. Right.
For your channel?
And, yeah, if it's still there. Some of the books will look familiar because I'll be showing a lot of the same ones, but yeah, if I can get my cameraman over here to hold the phone for me, I will be releasing my every 6 to 8 month video.
All right.
Yeah, I always enjoyed your videos.
Thank you.
The tour of your house and everything.
Yeah.
Coming from you, that is something.
No, all the books. I mean, you got a huge library.
Like I said, I've told so many people about your channel. I said, just look at a thumbnail, look at the background, and tell me you don't want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I'm frozen at 288 subscribers. I can't push past that.
well. I'm sure you may have more than that, but YouTube's not going to allow it.
It could be that I'm shadow banned for talking politically. I don't know. I'm not big enough that they would care. I don't think.
You're never too small for them to notice. I've learned that. It's
Yeah. Well, I don't talk about new comics, and I don't talk about what to speculate on and slabbing and all that. I don't think it's interesting to most people.
you know what though? I said, yeah, that may be. And I said, maybe, I don't know if I think what we do will continue to grow slowly. But what Jimmy said earlier in the chat, to me that's reason enough to do it. He said this is what's missing from YouTube for him. He goes, this is awesome.
Yeah, I read that. That's really nice that he said that.
And
Hey,
the fact that like I said, he's 22. He just turned 22.
If anybody is watching and they're interested in learning about mostly vintage toys, I have a channel and I make videos about old toys from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So if you're interested, come on by.
If I could get younger subscribers, I mean, I could do videos for the show. Okay, here's the difference. Here's what a Whitman is versus Gold Key, or I could show, okay, here's the newsstand variant. Here's what a Mark Jeweller's insert is and why they're there. I mean, I could talk. I mean, because I was a teacher for decades. I would love to teach people about comics, but I'm just the subscribers are my age and they already know everything. So it just they're just nodding their head. Yeah, that's right. But I'd love to teach about it. I wish I could get some, younger viewers. In other words,
a lot of speculation, and then Wednesdays, like today, everybody's excited about their new comic books they got and making videos about them.
Yeah. What if we were to do this show? I mean, I love Wednesdays, but what if it was Saturday morning, and then Paulo wouldn't be late for him, and then we could go we wouldn't have people's bedtimes coming up on us and work the next day. And what if we did it and then we could go all, as far as we wanted, or there competing shows that we'd be stepping on the toes of? Probably.
No, in fact, that's what I did with Paulo just this
last
Saturday.
That's what made me think of the idea. Yeah. But what if it was all of us? And then I'm tired. I gotta go because hey, it's 12 o'clock Saturday. What are you, insane?
And then by 2 o'clock is that Cover Slingers that Jambo takes part in. I like to watch it.
Okay. So I don't know. It's just an idea. I'm just thinking about Paulo.
Oh, yeah.
And plus, I can't. I can only be on at the very end. But on Saturday, unless someone's a Seventh-day Adventist, then they'd be out of luck.
Yeah, Saturdays I work both jobs and have the auction.
Yeah, I forget people work retail. Sorry,
Meyer. What's the name of your channel?
My name, Meyer Greenblatt.
Okay, I might be. Do you do videos all the time, or?
Yeah,
I'm
kind of in the middle of taking a break right now, but I'm like a every 2 or 3 day kind of guy mostly.
What?
A couple times a week usually, when I'm in my groove. There's close to 200 videos on there. I got a lot of toys.
Yeah, I like to go back after these streams and try to subscribe to everybody in the chat and everything.
My bad. Now I'm subbed.
Here you go, Meyer. Jackson just subbed you.
Thank you, the Jackson Roy Kirk.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
So
he's a good guy, Jackson is.
Hope you enjoy the videos. Yeah.
And Grottu Jimmy said he'll sub to you.
Oh, cool.
There you go. There's that younger demo you wanted.
Well,
and Jimmy subbed to Jambo too. He does great show and tell videos.
I love
Jambo videos.
Yep. Sub to all of us.
Yeah, let him tell 10 friends, and then they can tell 10 friends.
Yeah, because we're not going to get attacked by Dan Slott, so we need all the help we can get.
We're the Amway of YouTube
Who
comics.
is Dan Slott? I'm sorry.
He's the guy that wrote Spider-Man for 10 years. He was the one that first told a fan to go fuck themselves in a chat room.
Oh,
And
nice.
instead of getting fired, he was praised by Marvel management for doing it.
Oh, okay.
And he's been, a runaway train of assholishness ever since.
What 10 years? What decade?
2007 to 2008 to 2018.
Obama years.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Is he the guy that made all the girls get raped by the Green Goblin or something?
No, that was Quesada's directive to J. Michael Straczynski, and Nick Spencer undid that about 2 weeks ago.
It's still damage is done. I'm sorry,
Well, actually, it didn't happen. That's the say, because I said he found a way to do it to where it never happened.
Yeah, but it's still the
I know, but
the comic is painted. But
the books are still there, but at least it was a good faith effort.
It's like saying Germany is not run by a Nazi anymore, but it's still kind of memory. You can't. It's hard to.
No, I get that. But the nice thing about comics is almost anything that's done that sucks can be undone. Unfortunately, things that don't suck also get undone.
Yeah.
I wish they'd just stop the numbering over and over again of 40 issues. That's real lame.
I agree.
That's one of the worst things. And the alternate covers, man, the variant covers, that's...
Yeah, I
That's
said
out of
that.
control. Yeah.
And I know why they do that, but there's it's because you can't. There's no percentage in pirating, variant covers, so you have to go out and buy them. But still, do we really need 25 covers of a book?
I think the people that buy them don't read them. They're just objects.
Yeah. Oh, I all those Alex Ross covers. I'm sure most people didn't even open them up to see what books they were buying.
Oh, the ones with the oh yeah, those were amazing. Yeah, when I first went in a comic shop, they had a whole wall of them. It was amazing. That guy is astonishing. And any one that sees Alex Ross art, that's how these movies should be. Exact translations of the costumes, of the look of the characters. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to be embarrassed about Hawkeye or the Scarlet Witch's costumes. You can translate them exactly as in his paintings, and it looks wonderful. It's just breathtaking. What?
Agree.
Oh, well.
Well, Hawkeye doesn't wear a mask because Jeremy Renner was pretty in 2008. And the Scarlet Witch's costume is completely different because the 12 psychos on Twitter don't believe that women should be allowed to be sexy.
Yeah, well, at least they're kind of giving her headdress now. I assume it'll stay in the Doctor Strange movie. I've never heard of Jeremy Renner outside of those movies.
When Matt Damon didn't do one of the Bourne movies, I think they got him to pinch hit. And then Matt Damon said, "Oh, okay, I'll do it."
Oh, well, I think Graphic Man wanted to end the show. We're not letting him.
I do have to get up a little early. So.
All right.
Well, we're going on. Excuse me. We're going on 3 hours. I thought it was a fantastic. I worried about how it would start off, because we're kind of picking on a few artists, but I thought it was very good, and it grew into other things really nicely. So, thank you all for being a part of it and for making this a success. It's you that are all coming to see, and we all know that, and I appreciate all the plugs that you guys have given, and people in the chat as well. So you are appreciated. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all here next time, and we'll have a full house again. Good night, Jackson, in the chat.
See you, Jackson. Take care, buddy.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having me, Graphic Man.
Yeah.
Graphic Man, it's always a great show, buddy.
Well,
Always
thank
a
you.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
night, kids.
Good night.